Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Kenoshi Abaminito here with another Project Console. Um, Mr. Red Fox will join me shortly when he is ready, when he is able. I'm trying to make this a little short because there's something I have to do later on or something I have to go to after the cast. Um, this Project Console episode 77, cautious optimism, and we'll get to why I named it that later on. But so a lot has happened last week with Summer's Game Fest, the Xbox Showcase, Capcom's big event, and then Ubisoft's big event as well. Obviously, Sony had their um, um, all right. All right, just want to turn something on real quick. Sony had their big event a few weeks ago with so they didn't they kind of kicked everything off, I guess. Uh, so it was Summer's Game Fest. It's a few hours long. Um, I think the presentation was like a couple hours long. Um, it's kind of mid, I would say. There's a couple things there. Mostly focusing on the highlights. As you're seeing on the screen, you're seeing the new Prince of Persia game that they showed, made by the same people who made the Rayman Origins and Rayman Legends, which were both really good games. So this will this hopefully will be pretty good. And even got a release date too, January 18th, 2024. So that was one of the big games, at least for me there. And then there's what else was there? Dude, I mean, there was that game, and then there was Final Fantasy VII that was announced at the end. So, oh, they also showed some Alan Wake 2 gameplay as well. Look, interesting.
Oh,
Alan Wake. Oh, hey, what's going on? What's
yeah,
going on?
yeah. So we're talking about the
Summer's Game Fest. Did you
the Game Fest. I'll just look at the minutes because I didn't watch that shit.
Yeah, I, yeah, I skimmed through it. I didn't really pay too much attention to it. There's only like a few standouts, at least for me. Um, it
There was
reminded
one
me that
standout for me.
what there was
There
what
was one standout for me.
what was that?
Um, we'll get to it later.
Okay, so
It was Sandland.
oh yeah, Sandland. I forgot about that. That was
Yeah,
Toriyami's project.
yeah.
Is that based off of anything, or is that
It's
an
based
original
off of a manga,
manga
a one
Sandland?
shot manga, a one
Oh,
shot
okay,
manga that's like I want to say maybe 120 pages, and it's
yeah,
actually really good.
okay,
I'm like, why didn't this get more hype when it came out? Because I have the one shot manga and I read it. And I'm like, this is really good.
yeah,
And like you don't know, you have no idea how refreshing it is to see a Akira Toriyama manga that isn't based off of Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z.
yeah,
Like I read Doctor Slump, I read Sandland. I'm like, oh thank God, oh thank Jesus.
yeah.
So yeah. Sandland looked amazing to me, but let me look up the minutes of Summer Game Fest because so at least I have some Summer Game Fest announcements, Game Fest announcements, 2023 announcements. Oh, they have it right here. I didn't have to do shit. Come on. There we go. So how far we get? Alan Wake?
I was just mainly focusing on the highlights because I wasn't gonna go through every game, just stuff that stood out.
Was it
Uh,
interesting? Well, Spider-Man 2.
yeah, Spider-Man 2 got a release date.
Yeah.
For at their I have no idea why they didn't just have the release date at Sony's event. Like this just kind of, I just feel like it's a little petty. It's a bit petty to have the release date at Jeff Keighley's thing and not have it at Sony's thing because it is Sony's game. That's just really
It
weird
doesn't
to me.
matter because the shit's gonna come to PC anyway. Like the
Yeah,
Sony fanboys, like we get Spider-Man 2, and it's gonna sell like maybe 2, 3, maybe 5 million.
yeah, yeah. It's
Meanwhile, Breath of the Wild 2.
yeah.
um, the game that was the demo for Breath of the Wild. I mean, the game that Breath of the Wild was the demo for, Tears of the Kingdom, is going to be like 20 million by the end of this year.
It's gonna. But yeah, the Spider-Man 2 got a release date. Let's see. There's really nothing else that stood out except there was the Final Fantasy stuff,
Mm-hmm.
which is interesting. Part of me is because I've listened to various people break down the Final Fantasy remastered. There was this one long form video I saw of somebody who was a big fan of the original. Was like, what the hell did they do? What happened?
Yeah,
Uh,
the thing is that they like I'm not a fan of Final Fantasy 7, so I'm not like, oh my god, Final Fantasy 7. It's unimpeachable. But I do know that a core aspect of that game is that Eris has to die. It's
yeah,
like Uncle Ben has to die, Gwen Stacy has to die. It's a
yeah,
core tenet of the characters that they have to die. So having Eris not die is kind of like, mm,
yeah. It was kind of weird. So I don't know since it's sort of a because what's hinted at is that Sephiroth knew what was going to happen, knew how things were going to play out because they already played out somewhere in another timeline. Because the original Final Fantasy VII was
so this
one
shit's just
timeline,
this
and
shit's time loop shit.
yeah, and this
Okay,
Final Fantasy
then
VII is just a parallel timeline of the original. It's kind of dumb because you know
I'm
what
even
happens
less
after this.
interested. Yeah, I'm even less interested now because like what Final Fantasy VII fans wanted was basically the game remade in a more modern engine. Maybe some quality of life increases, and maybe combat overhauled a little bit. What they did was some bullshit.
Yeah, and you know the director of the game, Tetsu Nomura, and you know the other game that he made that he directed or had a heavy hand in. And that was the Kingdom Hearts games. So it's gonna be a convoluted storyline. It's not gonna make anybody and make hardly any sense, but people are gonna love it. I don't know what it is about gamers sometimes,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
makes sense.
it's gonna be on 2 disc, so it's probably gonna be like 200 gigs large. So it's on two PlayStation 5 discs, which is odd, just because
You know what's hilarious?
what
You know what's hilarious about all this is
what
that it's all come full circle. Back in the day, sit down, kids. Back in the day, um, if your computer if before CDs became the it thing, you'd have a game and you'd have to swap diskettes, 3-inch floppies or even 5-inch floppies, um, in order to fully load your game. It would say swap disk, and you'd have to put the thing out, put it back in. Then it came to consoles, so you had to do that shit with the PlayStation, where it would like get to a certain point, and then you'd have to take the disc out and put a new disc in. Swap disc. And now we're back again. Even the GameCube had a couple of games where you had to swap discs. Bait and Katos and Tales of Symphonia.
Yeah. Oh.
So, folks.
Oh, go ahead.
It's come full circle. You know?
Yeah. It's only a matter of
Next,
time
they're going to bring back the rotary phone.
Well, it's a matter of time before they're like, well, we're not going to have discs at all. We're just going to have we're just gonna not have to like Alan Wake like, well, we're not shipping the game physically. We're just shipping it digitally. And
but they already do that.
Yeah.
There's games that don't have a physical version.
Yeah.
Or if a physical version comes out, it's years later.
I had a PC gamer since like 2013, 2014. And that was during the time when they just stopped shipping physical copies of PC games. Like,
yeah.
People were like, nah.
If you get a physical version, it's just a fucking it's just a fucking a code with maybe a booklet with some merch, some swag.
Well, yeah, I forgot because this is here's another game I think is overrated slightly, but it's just more or less it's weird. It's just more or less me feeling it's just this game isn't really for me the way it's set up, and that's Mortal Kombat 1. What were your thoughts?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought it looked kind of interesting.
Yeah, I thought. I thought it looked interesting too. I thought, they picked up the pace with this game. That's cool.
No, I just like the concept of Mortal Kombat. I've always been intrigued by the story. I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting. And now they've rebooted it again.
Yeah.
Except now, now I don't have any insight into the game, but here's what I suspect. We always thought, like, in the Mortal Kombat series, if you've been playing it, like, it's like, everyone's always like, well, Lord Raiden, and the Elder Gods, why aren't you guys running this universe better? Right? Yeah. Like, all the heroes are like, why aren't you running this universe better? How could you let it get this bad? Now Liu Kang has to run the universe, and he's going to see how hard that shit is.
Yeah. Yeah. No. So, yeah, I mean, by some of the stuff you've said and by some of the stuff I've come across, the Mortal Kombat lore does sound interesting. I might pick this one up, but not day one. I'll probably wait for it. I'll wait for a sale or something. But yeah. So, did you watch, or did you catch any highlights of the Xbox game show? The Xbox,
yeah. But I mean, there was some stuff announced at the Summer Games that's pretty good too, like Yakuza, Like a Dragon Gaiden.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Star Trek Infinite.
Yeah.
John Carpenter's Toxic Commando. Pal World is like Digimon and Pokemon, but with guns. If you ever thought, hey, isn't it kind of stupid in Pokemon that everyone just fights with their Pokemon? Like, no one ever just pulls out a gun and just says, Jesse, James, I got your Pokemon now. Well, you can do that in Pal World, apparently.
Yeah. That's pretty funny.
Let's see. Path of the Exile 2, for those of you who are into that Diablo-style game. I don't know. Oh, and that Remnant 2 game, but they showed that at PlayStation 2 as well, and the
Yeah.
PC Game Show. Uh, so yeah, I mean, let's see the Xbox. Let's see what was announced at Xbox, because I know Xbox had Xbox dominated it with some of the shit they showed off.
Yeah, they actually they showed up compared to everybody else, which was
Like
I was
just
going into the Xbox thing not like expecting really much of anything except
it's gonna
Starfield.
be like it was, like it's been for a while now, just bullshit.
Yeah.
This has been delayed. This has been delayed. This has been delayed. Oh, and we don't give a fuck about this. This has been delayed. This has been delayed. But I said, you were like, nah, Xbox ain't gonna have shit to show. But I said, look, they have the it games. They got Starfield, Fable, Avowed, which is their Obsidian's answer to Skyrim.
Yeah.
And you've got like
Which looks more interesting and sounds more interesting.
than Skyrim has ever been without
Yeah.
mods. Keyword without mods. you gotta add that. I always have to add that disclaimer. Without mods. Yeah, vanilla Skyrim is trash. I would tell no one to play it. Don't ever play vanilla Skyrim or vanilla Fallout 4 or vanilla Fallout 3. Don't play any vanilla Bethesda games, because except like the first time you play it. The purest version of it. So what did they have? They had a teaser for Fable, and I'm not gonna lie, I had no faith. I had no faith in Playground Games as Fable, because I'm like, that's Lionhead's baby. But they started out by having Richard Ayoade, who's a British Nigerian. I think his mother's white, his father's Nigerian. Black guy. Who I actually like his humor. He's in a lot of shit that I thought was really goddamn funny. And he's playing, like, you're like, oh, well, he's just talking shit. And it turns out, oh no, actually, he's a giant. He's a giant. He's like, excuse me. I'm like, that's actually kind of funny. Like, I'm like, because Richard Ayoade has this very, like, British, dry sense of humor.
Yeah.
And he's like, I think that's hilarious. Like, he's like, excuse me. He's like, yeah. Like he's so chill with it, And I'm like, yeah, this is why I like Richard Ayoade. Like, when he's at his best, he's hilarious as hell. If you want to see him in doing his really good comedic chops, watch the IT Crowd, the BBC version. I think it's on Netflix or Amazon Prime, maybe Hulu. Like, the IT Crowd is amazing. Not the American redo of it. It's terrible. And then they showed Phantom Liberty, which, I mean, like, I'm going to tell you right now, Phantom Liberty is what the main game should have been for Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
Because it actually has cyber psychosis, where the more cybernetic implants you have, the more your humanity goes down.
Oh wow! Now I'm interested. Now
that's what Cyberpunk always. That's the whole point. Like, you play the base game, they're like, we don't know what causes cyber psychosis. We do, though. If you play the tabletop game, the more, because basically the more mechanical you become, the less human you become. So basically, like, your humanity starts off as like a 5, and the more like let's say you get a cybernetic eye, it'll go about down to like 0.3 or 0.5 or whatever. But the more cybernetic you become, the lower that count goes. And once you hit 0, you're basically the Terminator. You're no longer human. You're done.
Yeah, apparently by what I've heard is this new Cyberpunk iteration expansion is just pretty much a great reset for the game.
Yeah, it's what the base game should have been, but they were like, we're CD Projekt Red. We want to treat this like we treat The Witcher. I'm like, The Witcher, those stories are, you're following one guy in this fucked up dark fantasy grimdark world. Cyberpunk is a tabletop role-playing game where, like, there are these set rules in place, and then you role play around those rules.
Yeah.
That's what Cyberpunk is. And they're like, no, we want to tell our interesting story, but your story sucks though. And it does. It does. Most of the stories in Cyberpunk 2077 are trash, especially if you play the tabletop game. But this feels like more like what that world should be. Like the more because it felt weird to me how in the base game they're like, oh, you have to get a cybernetic implant. I'm like, but I don't want to get cybernetic implants because the more implants you get, the less human you become. They were like, no, we want to tell our story. I'm like, fuck your story. Anyway, yeah. But this looks good. This looks good.
Yeah.
It's got Idris Elba in it, so anytime you get Idris Elba in something, even if it's trash, Idris Elba's going to be amazing in it. Because it's Idris Elba, and he's a fucking fantastic actor. Have you ever seen that dude? Like, that dude's fucking ripped.
Yeah, I think I've seen him.
Like, Idris Elba looks like he could kill someone. And you'd be like, yeah, you know, he murdered a guy with his bare hands. I'm like, yeah, I can believe that.
Yeah.
They showed off Avowed, which is, like I said, this is the Skyrim we deserved, but never got because Bethesda's a fucking hack.
Yeah.
And it adds guns. You can dual wield weapons and guns, magic, swords. It's got fantasy punk technology, so that's cool. And it's set in an interesting world that isn't just a ripoff of D&D.
Yeah. So that will be interesting to check out when that finally hits the Xbox or hits the Xbox and PC. They also the thing about the showcase that really it reminded me of something is how much I kind of not a huge fan of the E3 format like at the Summer's Game Fest. Like the awkward sort of speeches in between the it's like the crowd interaction. I mean, I get why people still like that, but I really liked the format of the Xbox game show. Just showing games. Just not a lot of interruption. Here's a trailer to the next game. They actually showed a lot of gameplay. I was kind of worried there for a second because I thought I thought this was all going to be CGI. The Fable
For what? Fable? Yeah.
That was more of a conceptual I think trailer of what that game is hopefully going to be. And so that, because I was hoping that we'd see gameplay for South of Midnight, but that was just a CGI trailer.
For Fable?
No, not Fable. There was another game I was interested in. I think it's called South of Midnight,
Oh yeah, where it was just like a series of still images and maybe like just a general idea.
Yeah, I really like that weird sort of stop motion animation they were going with the skeleton guy.
Yeah, I mean it's got a black zombie chick in it. It's very rarely you see black zombies, even though the mythological concept, the folk tale concept of zombies comes from Haiti, from where they used to send slaves down there to tend to the sugarcane plantations. They would work those people to death, and to the latter stages of it, they would be walking around like they were walking dead. That's where the zombie concept comes from. So they got it from us. So it's interesting. It's come full circle, folktale wise. But yeah, that's cool. South of Midnight looked cool. I'll tell you a game that I thought was going to be interesting, and then when I saw more from it, it just I lost interest the longer I saw of it. Star Wars Outlaws.
Oh, did you see that at the Ubisoft conference? Yeah, because they showed gameplay at the.
They showed it at the Xbox thing too.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. why it's supposed to be in a galaxy far, far away. All these different alien species. Why are we always playing as human characters?
That's what I was thinking. It's like, you have, Star Wars for the most part seems to be pretty open ended. Like, because you got a lot of professional fan fiction out there. I
You got
sort of,
Jedi Fallen Order. The main character is a fucking dude, is a human. The movies, everyone's human. All the main characters are human. The alien characters die horrifically most of the time, or they're just a side character. Unless you're Chewbacca, he gets a pass, but everyone else is like, fuck you, die.
yeah,
It's annoying.
I mean, it's like, yeah. I mean, especially with the possibilities of aliens having certain abilities that humans don't have,
Yeah,
and
I
also
mean,
building gameplay around that.
the only Star Wars game where you can play as an alien and it's okay is the shitty MMO that was for the longest time just a reskin of World of Warcraft.
Yeah,
Think about that. Okay, which went third party, but we won't talk about that.
yeah,
In Exile showed off some shit that looked interesting to me. It's Clockwork Revolution. It's a third-person action RPG. Looks like some Bioshock shit going on,
yeah. That game looked
but done well. But done well. Not like Bioshock Infinite fucked up because what Bioshock Infinite should have been. Bioshock Infinite should have been the city of Cascadia versus Rapture. Like you'd have Elizabeth should have been the protagonist of that game, teaming up with an alternate version of Jack
yeah,
from Rapture, and then the two of them taking on their fathers who are fucking insane and making reality right. So the end of the game would have been them crafting a better reality where none of that shit happened.
yeah.
No Rapture, no Cascadia. People are living their normal lives, like close to what a basic, like a normal life would be.
Yeah.
But
The name of the city's Columbia. But yeah.
sorry, Columbia, Cascadia, whatever, man. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Let's see. Then they did Metaphor Ray Fantasio, which is from the creators of Persona 3, 4, and 5. So I'm gonna have to get that shit.
Yeah.
Gotta get that shit. And it's coming in 2024.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh, go ahead.
No, I can't. Like, all I'm gonna say is this. Almost everything they showed was amazing. At
At the Xbox Showcase, yeah, a lot of the stuff
with
they
the
showed was
Xbox
pretty
Showcase.
Cool. Yeah.
I mean, everything looked good. Hell, Dungeons of Hinterberg. Like,
Dungeons
if
of
you
Hinterberg,
don't,
yeah, that game looked pretty good.
yeah, if you don't have an Xbox or you don't have a PC because all this shit's coming to PC, I don't know what to say to you.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, they're bringing it to America.
Yeah.
They're bringing Yakuza to America.
Yeah.
And this dude's I think he's butt naked. He's butt naked on the beach.
Up on the shore.
And women are just walking past him. Like, I'm like, how are women just walking past this? And here's the thing, looking at Ichiban, this guy is ripped. Like, physically he's ripped. And women are just walking past him, butt naked. Like, no one's just, like this woman's wearing shades. And she's like, it's like, what the fuck? This dude's completely, like, women are walking past, dude, he's butt-ass naked. I'm like, how the fuck? I'm like,
I found it, I found it kind of funny because it's like, it's kind of...
This is like Austin Powers. This is like Austin Powers.
I was just surprised that they actually used, English voice actors to the American voices instead of just having Japanese voices. Because usually they have, when they release a game from Japan, usually you get the the sub trailer first, and then the English trailer for second. But yeah, I found that trailer interesting for a lot of reasons.
Man, all I'm gonna say is this: they brought Yakuza to the U.S. It's probably the West Coast because Japan's closer to the West Coast
Yeah.
than the East Coast, so it's probably California. So we got new places to explore. New. Oh man, Jesus. It's 2024. I can't wait. I can't fucking wait. I can't wait. I'm fanboying out. Yakuza! I mean, if you're a Yakuza fan, this is gonna be a good year. It's gonna be a good year in the next year because you get the return of Kazuma Kiryu, where he's like a secret agent beating the shit out of people because you can't stop Yakuza's greatest daddy from going around beating the shit out of people because that's what he does. That's what Kazuma Kiryu does. If you fuck up, he's gonna beat the shit out of you. Okay, that's what he does. This is the guy who in Yakuza Dead Souls, like when you finally get Kiryu, he goes to downtown Kamurocho, and he doesn't realize that they're zombies, so he starts beating the shit out of these zombies. And he spends like 2 hours beating the shit out of all these zombies. He's like, why won't you stay down? He starts beating them down again. And he finally figures out, oh wait, I gotta shoot him. Like someone comes and say, hey, you need a gun. He's like, oh, okay, like, so the return of the best beat 'em up guy ever, combined with what might arguably be one of the best, the return of Ichiban, the handover to a new generation of Yakuza. So I don't know what to say except the Xbox showcase was leagues better than anything coming to Sony. I know people are like, well, they got Spider-Man, but it's gonna hit PC in like 2 or 3 years.
They had nothing. They had nothing to show except Spider-Man compared to it's like.
And they've got Miles Morales, who I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck about Miles Morales. Okay, I'm sorry. I know some people are gonna get mad. Like, how can you not support Miles Morales? I don't support Miles Morales because he is a shoddily written character.
Yeah, and the big closer, the 40-minute little direct that they had, Starfield, which I have very cautious optimism for this game. It's gonna come out busted, but as I was watching it, I was thinking of all the mod possibilities for this game. The character models still look terrible though. I don't know when they're ever gonna fix their human character models. They just look like trash. I don't know why people think that's okay, but the space exploration, the shooting, looks significantly better than when they showed it last year. Apparently, EdTech is working with them with the shooting, but the space exploration.
There's one.
What was that?
One thing before we get into High on Life is getting an expansion.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The game with the talking guns.
Yeah.
Run by the studio Squanch Games, Justin Roiland. The crazy guy who apparently was like sending some really fucked up texts to young underage girls.
Oh, jeez.
It's like, hey, I heard you were molested. Me and my girlfriend like do threesomes. You want to join us sometimes? Like, what the fuck? And he actually put this in the Twitter and their tweets, and so they actually screenshot it. I'm like, why would you write that down? You could have denied it. I mean, it's not right, but I don't know about you. I have talked to women and said, like, sometimes I would misread them and say the wrong thing. But if you say something, you say, hey, I'm sorry, that was inappropriate of me, walk it back. But if once you put something in writing,
it's too late.
It's too late. It's too late. It's like that song. It's too late, baby, now. It's too late. It's too late. It's too late. All right? So, yeah, Justin Roiland, you fucked up. You fucked up, bro. You fucked up. But yeah, High on Life's getting the DLC. But back to the star of the conference, the game that basically is going to enable Xbox to just take their how can I put this nicely? Basically, they're going to run roughshod over everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone's getting run roughshod. All right.
Everyone's getting steamrolled.
Everyone's taking it up the tuchus. I think that's appropriate. Everyone's taking it up the tuchus, and the person who's taking it up the tuchus the most is Sony, because Sony doesn't even consider Nintendo to be their enemy, to be their competition. Their competition is, of course, Microsoft, and Microsoft has one game that basically it guarantees that they are going to have a very good year this year into next year.
Yeah. Games are finally coming out, and it's that game actually looks interesting, and I don't say that about
what, Starfield.
I don't say that about Bethesda games just because I always think most of their games are kind of boring, but this game actually, it's on Game Pass, so I don't have to worry about paying for it. Feeling disappointed. So I gotta at least try.
So you're gonna try it before you buy it?
Yeah, pretty much. So I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, my only problem with this game is that it's always online.
Yeah.
Which, here's the thing. Everyone's like, why does it always have to be online? We all know what that means. They're gonna have the Creation Club so they can sell you paid DLC. We all know it's gonna be about paid DLC. It's gonna be about paid mods.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. It's paid fucking mods. Of course, as you know, modders are probably going to mod in something if you get it on PC, where you'll be able to not have the shit be on PC.
Yeah.
Where you won't have to always be online, so that you can actually play the game with, you can play the game on, what's the word I'm looking for? You can play the game on, You can play the game without it being online and have mods and shit that add stuff to it. Because I'll be damned if I'm going to pay for a whole bunch of fucking paid mods. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And Bethesda lied. It's like, they're not paid mods. Yeah, they are. Okay, it's like, okay, let me get this straight, because they said that shit with Skyrim, the Anniversary Edition, and they said the same thing. I mean, with Skyrim, with the Creation Club, and they said the same thing with what was the other one? Fallout 4 and Fallout 76. Like, we don't have paid mods. Okay, let me break this down. Okay, modders are creating content, correct? Yes. Okay. And they are selling that content to you, correct? Yes, indubitably. And then you're selling that to us, yes. So they're paid mods. No. It's like, that doesn't make sense. But yeah, that's my only thing where I'm kind of like, I'm not really cool with that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm gonna again pick it up on Game Pass. Also watch what other people are saying about it. So, hope it's good. Hope that Microsoft, just went in there and cracked the whip and be like, "Look, you pieces of shit. this game better be pretty close to perfect when it comes out."
Well, you know that you need to take that wish, write it on a piece of paper, ball it up, and throw it in the trash. This is Bethesda we're talking about, man. Like, Microsoft's like, this is the most bug-free Bethesda game ever. Why would you lie like this? You know this game's gonna be a piece of shit in terms of bugs.
Yeah, and not to mention because not only because they're still using their same engine, and this game has so many more variables than any of their other games, so it's gonna be busted.
Yeah, and they haven't updated that engine. They refuse to fucking update that engine.
Yeah,
they refuse. They refuse to update the engine. They will not. They will not take that engine and say, "Hey, look, we have to overhaul this engine," because the Gamebryo engine, which is what the creation engine really is. It's the Luminous engine. the Luminous engine is
No, that's
the Gamebryo engine was designed so basically you could have a lot of like the Divinity games are made with the Gamebryo engine. It's designed to have lots of NPCs doing shit without crashing the whole entire fucking game.
yeah.
And they just refuse to overhaul that engine. And here's the thing: they're over at Microsoft. They have the time and energy to go, and the money. They have the money. They could go to Microsoft and say, "Look, we need some engineers to come and overhaul this engine."
Yeah. You literally you have more money than God at this point. You have access to Microsoft's resources. At some point, you just gotta be like, hey, look, it's time to. Maybe now we can finally overhaul this engine. No? I guess not.
I mean, they
They
should
had
have done it
this.
when they released Skyrim and they've been re-releasing it because they could have just sat on their laurels and overhauled that fucking engine. And they refuse. They refuse to overhaul that engine.
Yeah, they're
Like, they just will not do it.
uh,
And I'm
they're
like, no, go ahead.
um, yeah. I mean, I guess in a sense they had to do something because there's no way that engine was designed to deal with that many variables, like
No, it
thousands
isn't.
of thousands of random planets and
You know what they did, right? You know what they do with that engine, with that engine, right?
what is it?
The reason with each game that engine is more and more unstable and just starts falling apart is because they take aspects of other game engines and just bubblegum and tape and Frankenstein it to work to just that's why Todd Howard's always like it just works because they Frankenstein it just enough that it runs well enough on their developer build. And they're like, well, we'll fix it after it comes out.
Yeah,
And that's all it is. So basically, the core aspect of the Gamebryo engine is actually really good. But if you keep on adding other engines, which is different code, into something that's already different, and it barely runs, like that's why you can't go up a ladder. That's why the vehicles are trash, most of them. That's why, like, here's the thing. Okay, we're in 2023. This game's been in development for like 6-7 years.
yeah,
We still don't have a Bethesda game where you can get inside of a vehicle and fly around or drive around.
yeah,
Even in this game, you're not really flying around. It's like menu based, like static shit. Like I can play other games and get on a creature and fly around and do shit. Get in a
I
vehicle
mean,
and drive around.
you do have, you do have jetpacks. There's also zero gravity
Yeah,
stuff that's
but
happening.
that's not a vehicle.
Yeah, that's a good
That's
point.
not a vehicle.
Yeah,
Okay, that's an enhanced jump. That's a controlled fall.
yeah,
Okay, other games like okay, let's say I'm playing Xenoblade Chronicles X because that was a game that had vehicles in it. I can go up to a vehicle, turn that shit into a land going vehicle, drive around. Oh, I want to fly. Let's turn the thing into a fucking mech form, fly that shit around. Can I do that in a Bethesda game?
yeah.
Let's say Fallout 4. Okay, in order to get around and you not having vehicles, they give you a fucking uh
I don't,
fucking the tank armor things. Forgot the
I
name.
am.
Power armor. They give you power armor. That's how they get around you not having vehicles. They're like, we give you power armor. You mean tell me no one has with all these vehicles lying around, no one has come up with a car.
Yeah, I mean,
No one has come up with a tank. Shit, a horse and buggy. No, man. It's the engine. They don't want to update the engine.
yeah. You're telling me that you spend all those resources being able to fly these giant ships, but you didn't spend the time to create small vehicles. I don't know. Maybe you'll be surprised, and maybe they thought of that because they showed us a lot of stuff at their presentation, but they didn't necessarily show every single solitary thing. But
Yeah.
like I said,
Because they
cautious
showed
optimism.
and
Or maybe just
I'm
maybe
not
just
even optimistic. I'm just cautiously cautious. Actually, I'm
cautiously
cautiously
cautious.
pessimistic because I've
Pessimistic.
played too many Bethesda games that I know I know what's probably going to happen.
Yeah. 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 I mean, it's inevitable, I guess. But anyway, the Capcom show, and then we got the Ubisoft show, which Capcom show should have just been a press release, and then Ubisoft showed some. The new Assassin's Creed looks interesting. So that's about
Which one? The one that's like a throwback to the old Assassin's Creeds, like 1, 2, 3,
yeah.
and 4, and plus the 2D Prince of Persia game.
Oh yeah, the Prince of Persia game. Yeah, that game looked
Which
good.
I'm like, oh, this looks good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can't. Yeah, I can't wait because the new Prince of Persia game is made by the same people who did the Rayman 2D game, so it should be pretty decent. And
I was into it until I watched the trailer with that shitty ass hip hop over it. And I was like, y'all are about this trailer is from 10 years ago.
mm-hmm.
With that hip hop music going over it. I'm like, this is some shit from 10 years ago. This is not a modern trailer.
But yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I don't know why they. I don't know why they went with that. Like, I know, game trailers do rely on a lot of. They'll either have covers, or they'll have licensed music, or just have the licensed music in the trailer. But
I mean, they would have done better having like some sitar, like Aladdin type, ding, 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 shit like that, because it's the Prince of Persia. It's like modern day Iran and Turkey and shit like that. Babylon, that type of shit. But no, shitty ass hip hop music.
yeah, yeah,
that's it. That's the really. That's how you're gonna. That's how you're gonna push this out. Okay, all right.
yeah.
That's what we doing now. Okay, all right.
Is there anything else you'd like to talk about? Anything else that stood out to you in these on all these showcases?
I mean, I could say more, but I won't because I'm saving it for my cast tomorrow. The only thing I'll say is, I mean, I think we can all agree that the winner of the showcases was Xbox uh, by a mile.
Yeah,
Um, and the PC game show, because all that shit's coming. All that shit the Xbox showed is also coming to PC.
yeah,
So yeah. I never have I been happier that I have a streaming PC, and I'm in the process of building a gaming PC. Cause
why not? Why not?
yeah, I just wait for the shit to come out because I don't have to give my money to you know bullshit. You know.
Yeah,
And even Sony stuff is coming to PC, so it's like,
yeah.
it's like,
Anyway,
what do I need with you? It's what do I need with you? I have a PS4. I haven't turned it on in like 2 years.
yeah,
I have the only reason I'm going to turn my Switch on is so that I can play Bait and Katos
yeah,
when it comes out, which just tells you how little I care about my Switch right now. And I did play it to get through Breath of the Wild. I might go back, and Tears of the Kingdom. I might go back. I played through it once to beat it, and now I'm going to go back and try and do a 100% run, getting all the other stuff. But yeah, I'm not feeling it.
yeah.
But
All
that's it. I got nothing else to say. I'm done.
right. This has been Project Console, episode 77. cautious optimism. You like to give your sign out, pimp out
Yeah,
what
this
you're gonna
is
do tomorrow.
yeah, this is Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor BS Busters. Uh, on BS Busters, we talk about video games, pop culture, all that type of stuff. So, for me, um, hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to talk about. I'll give my take on. I'll give my take on my thoughts on the shows. I'm primarily going to focus on the PC gaming and Xbox show because I don't really have much to say about uh, the other shit because it's just kind of like it's kind of how can I underwhelming.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, like Sony stuff was just really underwhelming for me.
yeah.
So yeah, I'll talk about that stuff, and that'll be fun. That'll be tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can watch in person, or you can watch, you know, as you can, later on. So that's going to be fun. That's it.
All right, sounds good. Have a good day, have a good week, and have a good weekend, everybody. See you guys next week.